Hey guys, welcome to another video on the Inside Spurs channel. Happy Monday afternoon. Hope we're all okay. Hope we're all right. Hope we're looking after ourselves. Whatever it is that we're up to today, I hope the day is treating you well. Apologies for the technical issues and being 7 minutes late. I'd created the stream about an hour and a half ago. Went to go and open the stream up, and YouTube decided just to hide it from me. Don't know why, but it's definitely not my fault for once. So apologies for that. In this video, though, more importantly, let's just get into what we're talking about. We're going to be talking about Manchester City's interest in Richarlison and the De Bruyne situation now affecting that. We're going to be talking about Désiré, Doué, and a weird conspiracy around that deal. Alongside that, we're going to be talking about Patrick Dorgu, some information coming out around that deal, and potentially me predicting a little bit of the future in that regard. We're also going to be talking Saudi and Richarlison and a few things in that. Just want to say that if you're new and watching this, subscribe. You're very much welcome to join us for the journey. Hey, Robert, Alez, Persfire, Dean, Tom, Venturous, Sonia, Kieran, Camagu, evening, afternoon, morning, depending on where you are. How are we all? What I want to say as well, I have recorded 2 new videos, hence why there was a pre-recorded yesterday. I recorded 2 videos for the second channel, one of which is F1 2024, and the second one is EA College Football 25. So recorded, I'm editing, I'm currently doing them up, and they will be over on the second channel. Hopefully one of them will be on there today for you to watch, probably the F1. So please watch it, and please subscribe to the second channel if you haven't already. It's in the description with all my social media handles. Jazz, how are we? Eddie's, how are we? Juddy, Marshall, Alez, all of you. Oh, I've already said hello to Les. But anyway, let's jump in. Let's talk. That's what you're here for. You're not here for me to ramble, are you? So I want to start with Richarlison. So Darren Lewis, through the Mirror, said that Manchester City are taking a long look at Crystal Palace's playmaker, Richarlison, especially with Kevin De Bruyne being courted with that lucrative offer from Saudi Arabia. Now, I don't truly know what that Saudi Arabia deal looks like for Kevin De Bruyne. What we can expect is, I mean, he's probably on about 300-400 grand already at Man City, right? They're probably going to end up doubling that, no doubt. You know, something ridiculous. You think De Bruyne is probably still one of the best football players in the world. So this is a huge, huge get for Saudi if they get him. So the contract would have to be crazy. Now, the money that City would receive, they'd receive some good money. I mean, if there's talk about 55 million for Diaby, you're looking at probably more than that for De Bruyne, if I'm honest, even though he's got 1 year left of his contract because it's Kevin De Bruyne. But Richarlison is an interesting one. Now, I always thought it would be Dani Olmo. And supposedly from the world of transfer news and things like that, is that Dani Olmo is still able to leave Leipzig. They're not going to stand in his way. I think Leipzig are kind of looking at Dani Olmo and going, we can get some good money for him. Let's cash in on him. But it's interesting, the whole situation. I've as time's gone by, I've drifted more and more with the idea that Eze won't be someone the Spurs go for, just because of that release clause and it being such an issue with such a large amount of that being up front. It's not the total amount. That's not an issue for Spurs. It's not an issue for most teams. It's the sheer amount that goes up front. And up front costs, it can kind of nuke a whole transfer window. So that's one. Obviously, with Palace selling Elise, it's not like they have to sell Eze, you know. Hey, Caleb, mate, you're right. I've seen that so many times. Eze's going to be Bernardo, KDB, replacement at City. We'll see. De Bruyne is getting 60 million a year minimum. Crazy money in it. Also, I think KDB will go Saudi. Well, maybe not, but we shall see. I thought KDB didn't agree personal terms of Fab story. It's he says, she says, but De Bruyne has always been quite open to Saudi money. He's always been quite open to that move. And I think he's got 1 year left on his contract to City. I'm not exactly sure. I could see it happening regardless. I mean, they want Al Ittihad want Edison now, so there's also that. Hey, Donny, you're right. Hey, Liam, how are you, mate? So yeah, there's that on Richarlison. Now, swiftly moving over to Patrick Dorgu news, because I've been speaking about Patrick Dorgu for, I mean, months, but I've been speaking more specifically for the last week, right? And I said in my previous video that I released yesterday evening, talking about 3 positions I think Spurs need to look to add to this summer with additions. Please go watch it if you've missed it, because it was a bit more of a lower key, informative chat, more than just going, Spurs want this guy, Spurs want to sell that guy. It was more of a chat. But Calcio Lecce have said that Spurs have made an approach to sign Patrick Dorgu. Lecce want 30 million euros for the left back. Now, look, we'll take that with a pinch of salt. But the fact that that news has just sort of drummed back up, that's not because of me telling Calcio Lecce, hey, Spurs, yeah, can you just get a publication out? I wish I'd have that kind of power. But there is, I think, something to this. And I talked about in that video that if you talk about Bradley Locko or you talk about Patrick Dorgu, play style wise, stylistically wise, fairly similar to Destiny Udogie, I would have to say. And the drop off or rotation or anything that you want to call it, if Destiny's not playing or Destiny's out of form or anything like that, both of those players would be able to do what we want from Destiny Udogie. The ability to maraud forward, the athleticism. Both of them have that, you know. Jesus Christ, Donna. I see Kenny being Edson stay one more season and leave with Pep after 2025, potentially. Do you think that's value for money? So look, it's about 25 million, 26 million pounds. They might want 30 million euros. Doesn't mean they get 30 million euros. I could see a deal, if they were to get that, being more so a big chunk of that being add-ons. I think you'd probably get him for about 22 million euros plus add-ons, I think. And I think that is decent value. I like I said with Patrick Dorgu, he does give me Destiny Udogie vibes, you know? So I'm quite on board with this one. I think Reggie is gone. Davies will be the fourth centre-back option with Phillips, and we keep Spence. Emerson goes. It's not a bad shout. It's not a bad shout. Ange Paul, Pep Ball. Ange Paul is something else, Etienne. Who would you want to sign at the striker between Gyökeres, Tony, Santiago, Solanke? Well, I'd probably say Gyökeres, but if I'm living in a real world, you're looking between Tony or Santiago because of price. Yeah, that's what you're looking at. So in a dream world where money isn't a thing, FFP isn't a thing, and we don't have to care, it'd be Gyökeres. But in the real world, you're looking at Tony Santiago. Who do you think we're signing next? Well, let me talk about that in a minute, because I think this week is a rather interesting week in Spurs world. But there's that on Patrick Dorgu. I haven't loaded up the Saudi news, but we'll talk about it in a second. I want to talk about not Patrick Dorgu, sorry. I do want to talk about Désiré Doué. Now, I want to give you a bit of a backstory, give you the update, and why I'm bringing it in. It's going to be a conspiracy-esque vibe to this. Désiré Doué, Bayern bid comes in for him. PSG look like they're going to make a bid for him, right? That was the situation that we last saw. And then it went quiet. And, you know, Ren wanted this crazy money, but it's now gone radio silent in the situation with Désiré Doué, right? I'm then sort of looking on Twitter today, and I was at the gym, and I was looking on Twitter, and I saw that PSG are on the verge of an agreement on personal terms for Jadon Sancho, the Man United player. He's a winger. I thought, oh, maybe they don't think they're going to get Désiré Doué then. Oh, maybe he's going to go off to Bayern. And then I look on the Bayern side of things, and they're focusing on Xavi Simons, who again plays winger. And I thought, well, that's a bit odd. Bayern may need to sell as well to be able to afford certain players, but you know, Xavi Simons on loan, you can function. I thought that is odd. And then I was scrolling, looking through, and I saw nothing. It had gone quiet on Désiré Doué. And then I was thinking about the Archie Gray deal, and I thought, well, look, we've been interested in before, and it'd been publicised, just like the Désiré Doué situation. We've been linked to, we've talked about it, X, Y, and Z. And then like a week or two later, you know, there's been a bid from Brentford, right? And then all of a sudden, Spurs have been quiet. There's nothing going on in terms of links to Spurs, but Spurs have been doing work behind the scenes with Archie Graham and speaking to him for weeks. And all of a sudden, Spurs have agreed a deal, medical booked. Now, I'm not saying this is the situation with Désiré Doué, so please don't take this idea that I think Désiré Doué will sign for Spurs. What I'm saying is you could see the correlation in these deals. They're a lot similar than you think. And I think because it's gone so quiet on Désiré Doué, like it gone really quiet on Archie Gray, I don't think Spurs are out of this race. That's what I want to bring with this. I don't think Spurs are out of this race. I think Spurs maybe drifting away on the Eberich Eze deal, but supposedly Eze and Neto deals are, I saw some reports that saying that, Spurs are still, I think active is the word you could say on the situation. But I think with Désiré Doué, I just want to bring that one in because I like the idea, as we've seen Spurs probably over the last 2 years be a little bit better at keeping their cards close to their chest when it comes to transfers, so no one pips them. See Willian situation back in the day. See Luis Diaz deal back not long ago. I think Spurs are actually doing a bit differently now and going, let's keep it to the chest. Yeah, we're going to spend weeks working on this, but we're going to keep it to the chest. And then we're going to go, bang, we've agreed a deal, bang, medical's booked, sort it. I'm excited by that. I don't know what you guys think. Maybe I'm speaking absolute hogwash, but maybe there is something there. The Marquee signing is getting worrying. Who do you think we get instead of Eze? Would you guys take Doué? Bayern and PSG are obsessed. They believe they still can get a deal for Doué. Well, Bayern have to sell before they can get Doué in, so that slows them down. If we do not sign players before the back end of this week, then they'll only have the potential of 2 preseason games. Well, that's true. I like the detective work. I need to get my cop's hat on, didn't I? I need to get a cop hat on, or get all suited and get a little briefcase and get a little notepad and pen. Any recent news on Pedro Neto? Nothing massive so far, Josh. I'm coming to Saudi in a minute, Eddies. Doué, Chiesa, Tony, I'd be all right with that. It's not too bad. Your conspiracy theory makes a lot of sense to me. Yeah, well, Johnny, look, if you don't hate that, it's not the worst thing in the world, is it? I'm just sort of brainstorming, and I'm comparing the Archie Gray deal and just kind of seeing a lot of similarities. And we've been told that Lang likes to work behind closed doors. With the financial backing of PSG and Bayern, you would think a firm offer from them would have gone through. Well, that's the thing as well. Bayern made a bid; it got rejected. We've heard nothing about a second bid. We heard that PSG are active in this situation, and we've heard nothing in the last 4 or 5 days, have we? Which then makes me think, and they'd already said Premier League clubs are still in this race, but there's been no official bid. Contract offer-wise, Spurs are going to have no issues agreeing a contract with Désiré Doué. He's at Rennes. Spurs will end up giving him a big pay rise compared to what he's on, right? So, personal terms, I don't look at it as a big deal. Like, I don't look at PSG or Bayern agreeing in personal terms as like this deal's progressing. I really don't. It was always about clubs. Spurs have a good relationship with Rennes. They've done some dealings over the last sort of, 18 months with them, sort of last year with them, 2 years with them, sorry. So they have that relationship, and that's why I think there might be something to this. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but something might happen here. Sorry, something might be happening, That's what I'm saying. What have I missed? Teddy, you've missed 13 minutes. We've talked about Désiré Doué conspiracy. We've talked about Patrick Dorgu, and we've talked about Eberich Eze. Can we have a collection jar for every time you say JC? Yeah. Yeah, Jazz. I'm going to have to, aren't I? I'll put it up behind me. The jar will be filled after about a week. Which players do you expect to be a part of Spurs in September? What do you mean, Teddy? Teams like them, if they want them, they get them. I like your theory. Well, I just think, I know that Bayern have a situation where they may need to sell. Don't forget, because, Bayern have signed, obviously, Paulinho. They signed Ito as well. They've signed someone else. I've completely forgotten about them. But, Bayern have spent pretty decently this summer. PSG, I think PSG are trying to sort the Osimhen deal. That's their big one. They've already talked about Kvaradona, but, the big one there. Elise, thank you, Dean. Appreciate that. Yeah, Bayern have signed Elise as well. So Bayern have spent some good money this summer. Nothing's really left. And that's why I think they need to sell before they can start doing other things. Hence why they think they want to move off a Delict, Why does Doué apparently cost 60 million euros? That's what Rennes have said, Remember, Doué's going to Olympics. Chelsea are ultra interested. The fact we are clutching at straws this much proves Lang is leaking nothing. Well, it's not a bad thing he's not leaking nothing. It makes my job harder, but it's not a bad thing. 25 million, David. 21 million, Chiesa. Ramsey. Well, Ramsey would be a bit more because obviously he's a package deal with Lascelles, so is probably the way they go. When do you think we'll sign another player? I think we'll sign someone this week. The Ramsey deal doesn't make sense. Why do you think that, Caleb? Whatever happened to Van Gogh abandoning his job? Oh, yeah, Van Gogh's just decided to sack off work because he decided to go to China. bloody state of it. Has Spence made the tour? So far, yeah, you could say. Summer Fruit's here today. Come on. You know I wouldn't let you down. Summer Fruits is here. You know, I was editing my F1 and my college football, and I was like, I need my power juice. Had it to the side, edited to about an hour and 20 minutes of content in the space of about 10-15 minutes. Just built different, aren't I? Barn of Sign Eater, yeah. I guess Ange's famous mate call translate well to French if we end up getting Doué. Well, that's it. Doué is an exceptional talent. Grabbing Eze and Doué will make Spurs stand up in this transfer. Fair enough, Donna. Has Edison deal died? It's not been alive for a while. So which players do you think we sign? Well, I think it's pretty hard to say with Johan Lang being our guy in charge in terms of what I think and what I know. But, you know, that video yesterday evening, when I talked about 3 positions that I think Spurs need to add in, I think Spurs will add in those 3 positions. How about that? It's hard to tell you who, but I think they add in those 3 positions. What do you think about Villa selling Diablo to one season? Surprised to see it, to be honest. It's just to raise funds, really, I think, more so. He came in, and I think Bailey really showed at the moment that he was more suitable for the Premier League, and I think they thought, well, do you know what? His value's super high. We can actually make a profit on him, and we'll reinvest it. I don't hate it for them, to be honest. I just want to see we sign someone after that feeling. Yeah, we're missing hitting that crack, wasn't it? Hey, man, how are you? Another person. It's a great account name, obviously. Which player you think we might sign this week? It's hard to say Tatum. It's hard to say, mate, because Johan Lang keeps a lot of things close to the chest. That's what it's hard to tell you. And I wish I had an answer on that, but it is so hard to say. I'm just reporting the links that we have, making that something flow. It's a bit difficult at the moment. What do you think about Arthur Theatre? I thought he was going to Saudi, Charlton, or am I wrong? Something tells me Ange has signed off on both Toney and Solanke, and we're just sorting out which one we can get. Well, Solanke, they supposedly distanced themselves from because of the 65 million release clause. And Toney, apparently that interest is somewhat cooled. But we'll see. Hey, Sophie, you're right, mate. We still need to get rid of at least another 5 players this window. Yeah, they've made a great start, and they've continued to do quite well with outgoings, but there is still a lot more work to do when it comes to getting rid of players. I absolutely agree, Dean. Why did Villa sign Diaby in the first place? Because he was very good at Leverkusen. But, you know, if someone's going to give you a massive profit on a guy that isn't a regular starter, why not? I hope you sign Gyökeres next. We'll see, Josh. That value would have to come down from 84 million. 3 positions, left back, striker, midfielder. Well, my guess would be it would be a winger or attacker is my next move. I think that's what they do. Eze, I'm sure, is going to City. Another target. We're losing him. Potentially. Andy, you'll fall in a chance. Well, there's that then. Do you think we let Højbjerg off for too low a fee? I actually don't, Josh. For me, I look at the Højbjerg deal in this way. The initial is about £12 million. It's about 14 million euros, right? The deal can rise another 6 million euros. The deal we might be able to get out at 17 million. We bought him for about 12. So in theory, we're making a profit. He had 1 year left on his contract, and everyone knew he wasn't re-signing. So I think Spurs did all right out of the deal, all things considered. When people talk about, well, how can Emerson go for more? It's, well, Emerson's got more years left in his contract. He'd be probably more happy to stay and may even, extend the contract if we wanted to give him one. Hence why I think there is obviously more to be selling there. So that's why. He's not going to Saudi now because they got a different manager. Oh, interesting. Oh, was he going to Al Ittihad then? Is Gyökeres good enough for Prem? Look at João Felix, Darwin Nunez, etc. Yeah, but he is more accustomed to English football with obviously playing for Coventry and playing for Brighton. Højbjerg fee is okay with 12 months left in his contract, including Allen's. Yeah, I'd say so. Højbjerg is on loan with obligation buy. Would that affect youngsters going out on loan? I believe you can only loan out 5. To be honest, mate, I don't know enough about the loan situation. I'm guessing Man U took Agate away from us. Agate was never coming to us in the first place, mate. 1 established attacker, 1 young attacker, 1 defender who can also play left back or 6. Well, it's not a bad shout. Exceptions are Bernardo Silva, Tony, Neto, or Chiesa next. Big up, Andy. If Pierre Højbjerg, Lo Celso, and Richy were to go, we should have no excuse for not signing 3 solid players. Well, I think we'll be signing 3 really solid players anyway, you know. Bro, you mean Luke? Is it Lucas? It's Lucas. Lucas Bergval. They took him off for precaution. It wasn't anything too serious. We hardly ever make a profit off players apart from Kane, Obs. And Winks. Come on. 10 million. No, but I get what you mean. Big teams don't often make massive money on their players. You know, Arsenal's biggest ever sale was 32 million. It was Oxlade-Chamberlain. And that was a good few years ago. So big teams don't often make, you know, big sales. So you know what I mean? They're about making money through playing in Europe, advertising, sponsorships. You go for it, Donna. Osimhen and Gyökeres are for the same price. Who'd you choose? Well, they're not going to be the same price, mate. Osimhen's going to be worth about 20 million more. You can line out 9, I believe. There you go. For 3 players, we should be someone who can play both centre back, left back, a winger, and a striker. Well, potentially, but then they may look at Ashley Phillips and think, well, we've got someone there. We don't need to be getting a centre back. You know. That's the way I look at it. Don't forget there's youngsters coming through at the moment that are doing quite well and are exciting. João Felix is appreciated by Unai Emery. Well, there you go. There's the Diaby replacement. Deal considered extremely difficult from financial point of view for total package, but Villa considering João after selling Diaby. Right. You can have him. Do they leave for tour today? I don't exactly know. It's in the next couple of days. Bale, Modric, got good money from those. We are talking over a decade ago for those, though. Gyökeres, Chiesa, and Edison. Edison, not going to be happening, I don't think. Chiesa, we'll see. I mean, even the Chiesa deal, you know, when we talked about conspiracies around, the Désiré Doué news is going a bit quiet. Chiesa's gone quiet over the last few days. You know, there's no real, like, so-and-so's linked with Chiesa. So-and-so's linked with Chiesa. So there's something to be said that when they said they're looking to add 3 players in this summer, this week potentially, we'll give them, we'll give them benefit of doubt. We'll call it 10 days. So between now and Thursday, Friday of next week, if you added in 3 players, I think Spurs fans would all be fine with that. But if they're adding in 3 players, the Doué deal, that's gone quiet, right? That thing's gone quiet. Chiesa's gone quiet. Hell, even Pedro Neto and Spurs, that news has gone a bit quiet. So there's a lot to say. I think who else? I mean, I'm trying to think of who else. Maybe deal's gone quiet. There'll be others, but you see what I mean. Who do you think was the best bang for buck last year? For me, it was Alexis McAllister. Vicario as well. I mean, it's like 17 million for a top 5 keeper in the league. Mickey van der Ven. Yeah, I'd probably go with those 2. That's who I'm going to go for. There you go. Who's your ideal sign in this window? My ideal sign in this window. Genuinely, is it something stupid to say Patrick Dorgu or Bradley Locko for like a left back? You know what I mean? It's you know, it's not like it's not one of those where I'm like, we need to sign Kvashkelia. No, just, you know, something that works, you know. Nah, Donna, that's a 10-minute timeout for Donna. 10-minute timeout. We're not. Come on, let's stick it to football. Got to be Eze, top striker. Spurs are just smart, and Spurs are just whispering with the club, so nobody hears it. It's not a bad idea, Teddy. Yep, Vicario, Van der Ven, we're amazing. Good work by Yilang. In 2022, it's Kvara. Well, yeah, that's a good shout. What about Eze? Well, I've already talked about him. Right at the start of the video. I've talked about Eze. Right, last bit to talk about is the Saudi and Richarlison. But I've lost it. So that's always a good sign when I've lost it. So Al-Ahli, I don't know how to say it exactly, but they have now indicated their interest in signing Richarlison, with Tottenham valuing the Brazilian at about £60 million, which ironically might be a slight profit on him. And that came with Gary Jacob and Tom Alnott. Also, from the Saudi side of things, they're supposedly deliberating between Gabriel Jesus and Richarlison. So for me, I think you keep Richarlison. I think you keep Richarlison and you add a striker to that situation. And then maybe next summer you move Richarlison on and bring another striker in. Maybe that's the play you go. But for me, I want a striker to be given a striking position, a somewhat squad rivalry with Richy. I don't want to sell Richy. You know, if you're selling Richy, you need to then sign 2 strikers, which I don't see Spurs doing. So we'd be shooting ourselves in the foot for no real reason. I want Sonny to play on the left wing. I want another striker added with Richy in there. You know what I mean? It doesn't make any sense for me. You weren't here. Well, you got to get her on time. KYOSW1SH3S. Look, I'll quickly give you an update. So you have a situation with Man City maybe losing, obviously, Kevin De Bruyne to Saudi and looking at Eze in return. You're confident about Doue? Well, there you go. At the end, we will be like Man United and the chance to sign someone like Anthony. No, we're not that stupid. Richy won't leave. Everyone knows how important playing international is for Richy, and Saudi wouldn't do him a favour on that side. I mean, you say that, but a lot of internationals still play Saudi football. You know, I think we sell him and get 60 million. He never has got over 15 goals a season. Yeah, but again, you're selling him. You would have to replace him, and I don't see Spurs signing 2 strikers. You can get that 60 million next summer for him still. Saudi will still give you that money. Even if you get literally said to them that Richy will go to you next summer, we'll sign a deal, you know, but we'll announce the next summer, you know. Yeah, like Donna, it's all good fun, but like let's try and keep it to football. That's what we're here for. We definitely need a striker. Tottenham can't go with 1 striker this season. Exactly. What other Premier League teams, players would you like in Spurs? You can't name any obvious. Like, I don't know, mate. If I'm honest, I really don't know on the top of off the top of my head. Yeah, but Richy is already extremely close to the edge of not being selected, and playing at a club is really important still. True. Addy, I totally agree with you. Richy staying, Sonny on the left, and add another striker. I just think it's the best way to do it. If we were a top team and we're trying to be a top team, that's how you do it. If you don't get at least 2 players, I'll take a break from Tottenham. I can't lie. Yeah, we will. Don't worry. We will. But anyway, thank you all so much for joining me this afternoon. Thank you very much. Obviously, subscribe to new if you haven't. I really would appreciate that. We passed 2.71k subscribers. In the description below, follow the second channel. I'm uploading on there today. We're going to be uploading the F1, probably first race of my career. You'll have to see the team that I've joined. It's not a big team. So look, subscribe to there as well. And I'll see you all a little bit later on today to talk more Spurs. Take care, everyone. See you later.